Alright everybody, welcome to episode 156 of Psycho's Platters. That's right, always powered by coffee. I hope everybody's doing themselves fine out there in the vinyl community this week. I hope everybody had themselves a happy Turkey Day and a happy record store day. I did post a record store day video along with a little bit of extra. If you haven't seen that, kindly go take a look at that. I think I tried to make it as interesting as possible. In regards to the record store day, I thought I would add this. Due to the store that I happened to have gone to, it appeared that some of the record store day albums were mixed in with a different album shipment and got put out at a later date. What am I getting at on all this? Well, let's say you didn't find the album you were looking for. Go off and contact your record store that you were at. See if maybe additional stuff came in. Check out online, of course. Check out Amazon. Check out Amoeba. Try a few of those places and see what you can come up with. You still might be able to get that record store release day goodie that you want. This particular episode here, I thought I would change it up a little bit. I've had the 45 train running for a while. This time it's going to make itself a little pit stop up into the roundhouse. We're going to go off and we're going to do LPs, a handful of them that I picked up last week, and along with some music books. Now I know I haven't shown any books in a while, but all of these ones I got literally within the last couple weeks. So let's start off with the album portion, shall we? The first thing I managed to find right off the bat from 1981 on Epic Records, Rockabilly Stars Volume 1. Now, I tried to dig up some information on this. The only piece that I could figure out, though, is, other than that it happens to be a double album comp, this is, there supposedly was 3 different volumes put out for the Rockabilly Stars series. This, of course, is on a blue Epic label. This is a gatefold. Here's your front here, along with some very cool print. And I'll mention about that in a second too. Along with here's your back. Yes, this is a cutout, but some of the pictures here, Johnny Horton and Johnny Cash together. Little Jimmy Dickens with the Collins kids. That's some old 50s and 60s town hall party stuff. They were on. Scotty Moore, of course, who died earlier this year. Matt Curtis, and another picture of Johnny Horton from the backside. Some of the things on here: Town Hall Party, the Everly Brothers, Little Jimmy Dickens, Marty Robbins, Johnny Horton, Collins Kids, Billy Brown, Carl Perkins does too, Link Ray does too, Ursel Hickey, which I only heard of recently. That's side one. Record 1, Carl Smith, Scotty Moore, Bob Luman, Matt Curtis, Carl Perkins, Johnny Cash, another Carl, Alan Rich, Mickey Gilley, and 3 Charlie Riches at the end. All comprised here on this Epic twofer. Like I said, I got a cutout hole on it. But you know what? This is in stone mint condition. I cannot wait to listen to this and see what we're dealing with here. Alright. The next 2 albums involve a certain Hollywood celebrity individual that you would know him from this. Yeah, that's right. Live Long and Prosper. We're talking about Leonard Nimoy. I managed to find these. Oh, by the way, all of these were found at the local Goodwill together, $1 a piece, in various grades. But from June of 1967, Leonard Nimoy presents Mr. Spock's Music from Outer Space. Is it highly logical or illogical? You be the judge of that. Here's the front. Here's the back, of course, in his ever-smiling self. Non-Vulcan years on this one. I'm going to show you the label on this really quick, though. It is a pretty much standard dot label up to this time. But this one here, like I said, of course, I did research on all of this. Put out in June of 1967. It was re-released on a label in England called Rediffusion Records in '73. There was a single off of here, A Visit to a Sad Planet, with theme from Star Trek on the B-side. It reached 121 on the Billboard charts. The album made it to 83. Charles Randolph Green, who produced this, he also co-wrote 2 tracks on this. he actually has a history. If you're that interested, go look on Wiki. But his recording history goes back to the 40s in the big band era, so he was around for a while at the time. But like I said, this is very cool. I actually have a copy of this courtesy of my buddy Doug Fields down here, but this one here, I know exactly who I'm going to give this to. This is going to a friend of mine up in Minnesota, and if he watches these broadcasts, then he knows what I'm talking about. But this next one I'm hanging on to because I've never seen this one. Another Leonard Nimoy, The Way I Feel, from late 1968. I'm going to show you the label by then, because he had a second album, and then your third. Hang on a second. Oh, I might as well kind of show you this while I'm at it too. More of What Dot's Got. This one here actually shows the second Leonard Nimoy album, which I do not have. I don't think I do anyway. Two Sides of Leonard Nimoy. But the label changes by late 68 to this. This one here is in Stone Mint. Pretty much this album here would end up being the game changer for him. He stopped doing the sci-fi stuff and the outer space effects. He attempted, I guess, to actually try his hand at singing and guitar. Supposedly he does play guitar on a couple of these tracks, but we're not entirely sure. But he goes off and takes stabs at Sunny, Both Sides Now, If I Had a Hammer, just different things like that. But you know what? It's really cool. Here's the front, here's the back, but from late 1968 stereo copy, by the way. That Mr. Spock one was in mono. But very nice to have that. The next two are Monkees related. Yeah, I found some Monkees. Now, I already had a copy of this, but I could not pass this up. Yeah, 1965, a mono copy of David Jones on Colpix. The best thing I can figure off of as far as for the release date on this, here's the front, here's the back, here's what, of course, the Colpix label looked like. David Jones, oh yes, that was his name back then. But the first single that came off of this, called "What Are We Going to Do?", hit the Billboard Hot 100 the week of August 14, 1965. This album came out, we're guessing, September, October of 65, alright? So you're talking almost a full year before the Monkees hit on television. Now, I have to apologize because I cannot remember. I could have sworn that I read in it was in one of both of David's books, because the first one he did in 87, or 86, 87 was They Made a Monkey Out of Me. Then he ended up, which I met him and got the book signed on back then. Then he ended up doing Daydream Believer, which is an awesome book. It basically took that first book and added more stuff to it. But it was one of those two books where he went off and opened his mouth and said, well, you know what? When that Monkey show was going to be, when they were trying to pick the 4 people, supposedly he was the shoo-in. He was going to be in it no matter what. So, knowing that, you're like, okay. But in a way that kind of made sense. Colpix, going into Cold Gems, basically Davy Jones was a property of the label. So that kind of made sense to me on that one. In 1967, this album was reissued in the UK, mono only though, on Pi Records. In 2011, Friday Records, the CD edition has 2 bonus tracks of a 1965 single, Take Me to Paradise and Girl from Chelsea. So this one here, I'll admit, is going out to my monkey best friend up north, Kathy Emmer. She gets this. I already told her about that because she didn't have that in her collection. Her and I went to the Davy Jones concert back in 2005. He was great. He was awesome. So which leads to the last thing that I got album-wise for the day. When I was digging through the crates, I managed to find the first 5 Monkee albums. Yeah. Unfortunately, the condition on these things were fair to midland. But I found this. Now, I know you're like, hey, idiot Psyko, you already showed us this quite some time back in one of your other episodes. In fact, I think I've shown it in 2 different episodes. The album of this, per se. Of course, here's the front, here's the back. But guess what? Finally, I got a mono copy. Yes, I have a mono Pisces Aquarius Capricorn and Jones. This is, I mean, the spine's slightly brittle. There's a lot of feathered scratches on this thing. I haven't cleaned it up yet to see how it plays. And there's 2 tape marks on the back of this album. Hey, I'm not complaining. I only paid $1 for this thing. In near mint condition, a mono copy of Pisces goes for $150. I just like it because you can actually hear the different mixes between the mono and the stereo. So, I did research on this album, so really quickly I want to go off and tell you here. Monkey fact, for that particular album, you know what, I'll keep showing this while I'm out of here. Monkey fact, for this album there was an aborted single that was actually supposed to be put out in October '67. Love Is Only Sleeping as the A-side, with B-side being Daydream Believer. That was supposed to go out, like I said, in October, but was killed. I heard 2 different things. I've heard manufacturing delays was one reason, but the other one supposedly is the fear of the title of the A-side might be too risque. So they ended up changing that single to Daydream Believer being the A-side, Going Down, which wasn't risque back in '67, as the B-side. Also, there was an original track listing that was aborted here too, and it was not What the Heck it says. So I'll show you this for a second. The back side of it, the original album was supposed to go like this. Side 1, each side had 7 tracks, okay? So side 1 was supposed to be Special Announcement, followed by She Hangs Out, Salesman, Cuddly Toy, Words, Don't Call on Me, and Going Down was going to be on the album, which Going Down didn't end up on the album. Side 2 was then supposed to be track 1, Door Into Summer, followed by Hard to Believe, What Am I Doing Hanging Round, Daily Nightly, Peter Percival's Pet Pig Porky, Pleasant Valley Sunday, and featuring Out with Star Collector. Extra monkey facts on this album: Craig Vincent Smith, who wrote Salesman, would later appear in the band Penny Arcade, which Mike produced. Ellie Greenwich co-wrote She Hangs Out with Jeff Barry. They used to be writing partners in the '60s. Harry Nilsson is it's unknown, but he's involved on the song Door Into Summer. Doug Dillard plays banjo on several different tracks. Doug Dillard, if I remember correctly, not only was in the bluegrass band the Dillard Brothers, but by the mid-'60s to late '60s, he was in the band Lewis and Clark Expedition. At least I think I'm right on this. On Cuddly Toy, written by Harry Nilsson, Tom Scott is on horns. The demo title of that track was actually originally called By Any Boy. Pleasant Valley Sunday, the stereo album of this differs from the single and mono album because the single and the mono album are the same mix. The stereo and the mono mixes of the song, though, also have slightly different vocals by Mickey on the first verse only. Daily Nightly, mono and stereo versions have slightly different Moog synthesizer parts. And number 1 on Billboard it went, and when all of the Monkee albums were reissued on Rhino, it actually went to number 140 in 1986. The single, which was Pleasant Valley Sunday, and Words as the B-side, Pleasant Valley Sunday made it to number 3, so they had a top 5 there. Words almost made it to the top 10, but ended up at number 11. So, books. I want to show you some books really quick, okay? In no apparent order. These are all stuff I've gotten either through Goodwill another different resale shop, or as a birthday gift, well, early Christmas gift, excuse me, from Terry Jalin's, Whalen, Tales of My Outlaw Dad. If you're a Waylon Jennings fan, this just came out earlier this year, but it only cost me $2 at Goodwill. Grab this book. I'm telling you, you will actually be kind of interested in the stories that he tells. Terry ended up working with his father, I want to say pretty much the 70s and 80s and 90s to an extent, okay? He was a roadie for, in his band, but he got to be on the road a lot. So, pretty interesting stuff in here. And as a local fact, I found out that when Waylon Jennings and Jessie Coulter, his wife, ended up renewing their wedding vows, they actually did it at Big Cedar Lodge in Branson, Missouri. I didn't know that. That's about an hour and a half from here. Hang on a minute. There we go. This is a call. The Life and Times of Dave Grohl. I haven't gotten to this yet. I've gone through the rest of this pile. But, of course, I'm a Nirvana fan and Foo Fighters fan. I can't wait to actually read this. But I'm going to tell you the honest truth, at least in my opinion anyway. Dave Grohl and Jack White are two of rock's best ambassadors for the following generations of music, honestly. The love and passion that they have for music itself and respecting the back history, along with wanting to change music history and promoting it in the future. I think honestly really awesome. So I cannot wait to read that one. Speaking of Nirvana though, Come As You Are, the story of Nirvana. This one here by Michael Azerrad. This one had a final new chapter. This originally came out shortly before Kurt's murder. I mean, forget it. But, so, this was actually a very interesting read. I'm assuming it probably maybe has been updated since, but I found that. I'm not much of a Korn fan, but I thought this was pretty cool. I read Brian Head Welch's book, one of them anyway. Now I read Fieldy's. I do actually like his bass lines. I really, really do in Korn. But of course, Fieldy wrote My Journey, My Addiction, Faith and Recovery in Korn. It got the life. There's the back on that. I am a big Hank Williams Sr. fan, so on the Junior. I Saw the Light, the story of Hank Williams. This actually was a re-released book. Of course, they updated the cover to the I Saw the Light movie, and I'm led to believe it's actually a decent movie. Here's the front, here's the back. I actually want to see that movie. I haven't had a chance. I'm a big Allman Brothers fan. This one here, No Saints, No Saviors, My Years with the Allman Brothers Band. Here's the front. This is a little bit trippy in the back. Written by Willie Perkins. Willie Perkins, I'm led to believe, originally was supposed to help the Allmans in regards to legal and miscellaneous stuff. He came into their world in 1970, so he got to experience a little bit of Duane Allman before he died, Barry Oakley before he died, and then pretty much, though, the ending for his association, to my knowledge, with the Allmans in any aspect was 1989. He was let go by Greg in a not so decent way. Okay, let's see here. Hang on, I still have two more. I could not believe that I found for $4 at the used bookstore the Beatles Anthology. Yes, $4. This thing normally went for $90, I'm told, when it came out. $4. This is just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It looks like it's never been read. Want a picture? How about that page? I'll give you that page. Gorgeous book. I cannot wait to actually go through that. And lastly, my mom. You know what? She always seems to pick out decent gifts. She really does. She's never gone off and gotten me something I've already had. The Greatest Album Covers of All Time by Barry Miles, Grant Scott, and Johnny Morgan. Now, Barry Miles sounds familiar to me. I have a sneaky feeling he's written for some rock magazines, but right now I'm kind of tired, and it's just, but this is awesome. Let me see if I can show you a page really quick. How about Trump Mask Replica for Captain Beefheart? I have to confess I have no beef heart yet in my collection. I have not found any. New subscribers since the last videos that I've done. Maya Boy 2, Caboose 420, Nick Colbert, Lapita Palmerin, and Lisa Ghiberti. Thank you all for joining Psycho's Platters. I promise to hopefully keep you guys educated and entertained. And you know what? I enjoy doing these videos. And I hope you continue to watch them. Wax Museum with Ronnie Dark, Night Owl Lounge with Mike Adams, 6 to 9 p.m. Central Standard for Wax, and 9 to 10 for Night Owl. Thrifty Music Collectors Group, Doug Fields and Company. I'm sorry. Tim Smith and Company. Doug Fields is my buddy, though. He's got the Vinyl Grotto, but I'm not entirely sure what what's going on that page right now. Sorry, Doug, if I'm misspoken. So yeah, and then Shindig, the best English rock magazine, period. Followed by the YouTube vinyl community, who without them we wouldn't be able to do these videos. And don't forget Freak Beat with Ken Worth on Monday nights, 8 to 9 p.m. Central Standard. 107.5 The Spy out of Tulsa. Alright guys, I know this was a little bit long-winded. Forgive me, but you know what? I love you guys. I love the VC here. The channel is slowly growing, and it's all because of you guys. And I thank you. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your frenemies about Psycho's Platters. And I'm still hoping to have some decent news into the beginning of 2017 for everyone. Like I said, I love you guys. Take care. God bless. Rock on.